My name is Sebastian Baptista. I'm 18 years old. My mom is Flory Beth Roman. My stepfather is Edwin Roman, and my father is Johnson Baptista. My siblings are Christian and Esteban Roman. Esteban's 12, Christian's 3, and Isabella Roman was my sister who passed away at the age of 6. There's not much to me really. I'm working at a grocery store. I've been working there for 3 years. I started this summer when I turned 16, but I started working there at the age of 15. I was recently promoted as a supervisor, so that's definitely cool. You know, the family thinks very highly of me. I did start school. I'm a freshman in college. I did one semester, and I definitely chose to be a business major, business management, for the company that I'm working for, so that I have a better opportunity at better promotions later on in the future. I did graduate from high school. I was an ROTC cadet and I was an ensign. I did 4 years of soccer, and that's pretty much there is to me. Bella's life began normally. She was born, she was walking, she began to say a few words, she would eat on her own, and she was going through life's progressions very normally. And we didn't notice a change until we saw that she was kind of walking off balance. We took deeper looks into it, and doctors really, they came out with everything. Tay-Sachs being so rare, it was one of the last things they would suspect. After, I believe it was a couple trips to New York, my mom had found a doctor in New York, and that doctor had claimed that Bella had Tay-Sachs. And after that, my mom went on research, and she tried to figure out what Tay-Sachs was and get a better understanding of it, and just her reading it upset her so much because basically Tay-Sachs is a life sentence. Um, Bella began to digress, and basically the way I say it is life started going backwards for Bella. As fast as she went from crawling to walking, she went back to crawling to not even being mobile. Bella had a hard time eating. Her words were being very slurred to the point where she couldn't even speak anymore. And life just started going backwards. The conversations that we had in the house, it was very confusing at first. You know, when Bella was first diagnosed, my brother was very young. Esteban was very young. Christian wasn't even born yet, and Esteban didn't really get a grasp of what it was. I was pretty young myself. I was older, and I didn't quite myself come to an understanding of what was happening. It took me a while to understand and comprehend that my sister had this and it was terminal, and it wasn't until as the years went by where my brother and I kind of put the pieces together of Bella needs this medical treatment, Bella needs that medical treatment, Bella has this and it does this. And I personally didn't ask mom too many questions because it's like I said, I didn't know too much myself, so I didn't even know what questions to ask. So mom just kind of sat me down and kind of gave me a very basic description of what Tay-Sachs was, and what at the end of the day what it's going to do, and I didn't understand it at all. I didn't understand the disease. I didn't understand why it happens, and I didn't have many questions because I didn't know where to start. The way my siblings and I handled it are actually extremely different. I personally didn't talk about Bella too much. I didn't bring her up because it bothered me the way people looked at me. I saw Bella as just a sign of a greater thing. She brought hope and she brought life. But I felt every time I told somebody about my sister and her future and what was going to happen eventually, they gave me those same those pity looks. It kind of bothered me because I didn't view my sister that way. I had very close friends that I'd sit down and I told them about what was going on and how I felt about it. And they were really good about it. My brothers, on the other hand, were very open about their sisters. And my brother Esteban would tell everyone, and they would ask him questions, and he would answer to the best of his abilities, as would I. If someone had a question for me, I would answer it. What I can definitely say, though, was the time my sister had passed away, my class, my Bethel High class of 2014 were very supportive. I had every single person in my grade come up to me, giving me their condolences and anything that I needed, that they were all a phone call away. I thought it was cool how there's kids that I haven't talked to at all throughout high school or middle school who just out of the blue would come up to me saying, I'm sorry about what happened, and I'm definitely there for you. As did my brother. My brother's grade were phenomenal towards him. The fact of having your sibling pass away and having that knowledge that it's a big question mark. It could happen tomorrow or 5 years from now. That's going to be every sibling's fear of when is it going to happen? How am I going to handle it? How are my parents going to handle it? You know, how are we going to hold it together? And that was one of my fears is, you know, if Bella were to pass away, how is my family going to piece it together? But, you know, you just take it a day at a time. You definitely take it a day at a time, and my family did just that. We took it a day at a time, and we sat down and we just took deep breaths together, and we went through that fear as a collective unit rather than individuals. So I never really asked anybody about the things that I was scared of. I kind of just kept my fears to myself, and like I said, I took it a day at a time. I didn't think about Bella later on. I thought of Bella now. And I didn't ask anyone about my fears because I was afraid. For the most part, I was afraid of what the answers I would get. So I continued with the thought of taking it day by day. It definitely worked for me. You take it day by day because if you go too far down the line, you're gonna upset yourself. You're gonna upset yourself. Sometimes it's good to know an answer because you can mentally prepare for it. You know, that was the one flaw to my idea, that once Bella did pass away, I wasn't mentally prepared for it. It didn't hit me right away. It took some time to make my mind realize, like, you know, Bella's gone. I think the way I handle things were probably better than most ideas. Taking it day by day, just don't think too far, but don't think too far back because there's nothing you can do about it, and you can't predict the future. You can't do it. You can only see what's happening right now. As far as questions goes, it's some questions are better not asked, is what I can say. That's how I viewed it. Some questions are better not asked. So instead of asking them, just kind of go with the flow. The way the division of attention that my parents had, I felt like I definitely did take the lesser end of it. My brother Esteban is extremely smart. So he was more of the sibling who came home with the grades. I mean, he recently took his CMT scores and he tripled the average student. You know, like kid's intelligent. He would come home with great grades, get mom's attention. Bella would always have mom's attention. I was more like an average kid. I didn't come home with all A's or the first two letters of the alphabet. I was just an average kid, and for the most part, I definitely felt like favoritism did play a role for a while, especially when I didn't understand what was happening. I felt like my parents were definitely ignoring me and paying more attention to my sister. And when it wasn't given to my sister, it was definitely played in my brother's favor. And that went on for a while until I grew up and I realized, okay, my sister needs the attention. Maybe instead of being so upset about it, maybe I should start taking part. And I definitely came downstairs. I mean, I used to be very into my room, and after it all hit me, like maybe I should be downstairs with my family, that's when that feeling of favoritism kind of went away, and I definitely felt more connected with my family. I definitely asked why me multiple times, especially like I said, with being, you know, the least favored, at least in my mind at first. It was a terrible position for me to be in. You know, I didn't understand why my sister was diagnosed and why she had this terminal disease. I didn't understand why I wasn't favored, and I asked a lot of questions. And those thoughts definitely did creep in my mind. And it wasn't like I said, I took a negative out of everything, and it wasn't until I took a positive out of, maybe instead of being so negative about everything, let me go downstairs and let me go see my sister and sit and watch TV with my mom or play video games with my brother. It wasn't until I was more interactive with my family where it wasn't so much why me, but more as I looked at it as a collective unit and said, how can we go forward? What I wish I had heard from somebody else was you need to be more interactive. And what I mean by interactive is you need to be present. That's what I mean to say. You need to be present. When it came towards Bella, I was distant. I didn't know how I felt about it. My brothers were closer to Bella than I was. You know, to this day, I'm very upset to say that. I wish I was closer. I just, you know, me mentally, I didn't know how to handle it, and it definitely wasn't easy. once I started realizing Bella was making a ton of trips to the hospital because of, ammonia or whatever, whatever she would get above Tay-Sachs, I did start coming in a little bit more because, I was scared for my sister. Something I wish I was told was you just have to be right there at their side. You have to be right there at their side. And I feel like I definitely was there at the very end. We had a wake for my sister, and I was there, and I was actually, me being the oddball that I am, I was actually smiling because, I don't look at my sister's passing as an upset. I'm very happy for my sister and everything that she's done. My sister put hope into a lot of people, and she's connected me with a lot of people, and she helped this family in every way, shape, and form. I was there for the wake. My mom obviously wasn't able to speak. She was in tears, and I spoke for the family when I gave my thanks to everyone who was there to support us. And I definitely did what I could to prove to my family and prove to my sister that I was definitely there 100% of the time, even if it wasn't me who was suctioning her like my brothers would, or pounding her chest because she had inflammation like my brothers were, or cuddling up in bed like my mom was, or kissing her forehead like my stepfather and my mother would. I may have not have been very physical with my sister, but I was definitely there mentally and emotionally. The way it helped me look at children with complex medical needs, I just have such a better understanding, and not just for the child, but for that family overall. And I spent a lot of time with kids with special needs, and I loved every moment of it. I communicated with parents who were, the parents of these kids with mental disabilities, and I let them know that I was there, that I knew exactly what they were going through. I told them my sister's story, and they were grateful to have me, and I was grateful to get to know them. Traveling with Bella, you definitely feel like you were the center of attention. I mean, I remember taking trips, and we'd have to go into the airport, and we'd just be lugging all this gear, and you feel like everyone's looking at you like, wow, oh my God, whatever. But I mean, although I felt like I was the center of attention, it didn't bother me because, like I said, that's Bella, and she's a person like anybody else who just needs a little bit more attention. I didn't really think too much of it. I just like, all right, Bella needs this, Bella needs that. Oh, hold on, you can't do that because her suction's there. Let me put that to the side for you. You feel like the center of attention, but it's, like I said, it's just more on how you view it. I'm the center of attention because my sister is the greatest thing. And, if it wasn't for Bella, I probably wouldn't be the person I am today because of her. It's just the way I look at life was because of my sister. My sister, like I said, was that symbol of hope and a better tomorrow. And if it weren't for my sister being diagnosed, I wouldn't have that view on life, and I wouldn't be who I am today. I'm proud of who I am today. I've gone through a lot, with family issues and just, my personal issues, that it was because of Bella who gave me the strength to just continue with what I'm doing. Bella, my uncle, gave me a phenomenal quote that I live by every day, and it was, if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. And at the end of the day, I stood for my sister and what we believed she did for everything, for all of us. And my sister was the symbol of hope for all of us. And even to this day, she might not be with us, but we still have hope and a cure. And we still have hope that no one's going to go through what we had to go through. As far as grieving goes, it's teamwork. That's definitely what it is. I did everything. I was there for my mother. My mother was going through some family issues at the time besides Bella, so I was definitely there to support her when she needed me. My stepfather was having a hard time with everything, and obviously it was hard for my brother Esteban to understand that, where my sister used to lay down and she won't be there anymore. Teamwork, that's definitely what I can say. The grieving is hard, and it's very hard when a sibling passes away and there was nothing you could have done about it. It's definitely how the family operates together. We'll be talking about something, and Bella will pop up every now and again. We don't talk about her a lot. It still does hurt. It's always going to hurt. That was my sister. That's my mom's daughter, and it's definitely hard. Especially she's still here with us. It's definitely not easy when my sister comes into conversation, but we will definitely bring her up into the conversation. And if someone does something good, bring home great grades or whatever, we always do make it a point of not only are we happy for you, but Bella's happy for you too, because she's definitely watching you come home, work hard, bring home great grades, you perform well at work, and that's why the family trusts you. We definitely bring Bella in the conversation. The best thing you can do for a sibling is get them involved in a group. Not so much a group where they all sit down in a circle and they just talk about their feelings. More as a group that goes out and they do activities, because that's how kids interact. Kids can't sit down and talk about their feelings. The way kids interact with one another is they'll go out, they do activities, and before they know it, they're best friends before they even know their background. Get that, like, I can't say that enough. Get that kid involved in a group. Help him make friends with people who are in the same situation that he is, because once he realizes there's more people like him, they'll understand that they're not alone, and they'll interact and they'll connect with people who are just like them, and they'll be laughing, they'll be playing games, and they'll have friendships like I do with Carly and Emily, Jessie, Serena, Bailey. They'll have those friendships that I absolutely love, and before you know it, you know each other before you even figured out what was their background like. I definitely love NTSAD and the Rare Siblings group. It changed my life for the better. Before I met NTSAD, every sibling is gonna feel like there's not one person out there who is feeling what I'm feeling. That I'm stuck in this position. My sister feels this way. There's nothing I can do, and you do look down on yourself. And after meeting the NTSAD kids, I realized, they understand where I'm coming from, and some of them have siblings who have already passed away, or siblings who are going through what my sister was going through. And the NTSAD family or friends, I don't really call them siblings or friends. I say they're family. They help me in ways that, some ways that mom and dad couldn't. Some things that I couldn't explain to mom and dad, I was able to explain to them because I felt like I was able to connect with them better.